How's it going, guys? Just wanted to go over how to initially learn how to wind the hammer. This can actually help out intermediate, even I would say maybe in advanced throwers. This is a technique that I actually learned at a camp. I want to say back in 2012. Koji Murofushi is actually the person who taught me this. So if you're a right-handed, left-handed thrower, you want to put it in your dominant hand. So this is my right hand. I'm a right-handed thrower. I'm gonna put it on my right side. What you want to think about is curling the hammer to a drop on the right side, okay? So the hammer would look like this. Drop. Okay? We'll do it again. That has to do a dead stop. Go ahead and pick it up, curl it, drop. Okay. You notice that I'm actually letting the hammer just bang on the ground. The reason for that is you need to think about the descend portion of your hammer. You'll see a lot of people, mainly beginners, that get their hands stuck up here, okay? And the reason for that is they're not thinking about the descent, they're just thinking about the up portion of the hammer, okay? So in the hammer, especially in the entry, you don't want to think of a super up and down motion right off the bat, because if you go too up too fast, you're gonna go and pick yourself up out of position. So it's actually dragging you out of position and getting more of a shot put discus sweep or elongated step. So keep everything lower to the ground. Think about your arm or your hand as a big comb, and you're just combing your hair and letting that ball just naturally come down and drop off to the right side, okay? So I'm gonna do it again. Have the hammer on the right side. Practice keeping your shoulders as loose as possible, gripping the hammer as if you're hanging from a pull-up bar, okay? So arms and shoulders are loose, grip is really tight, okay? I like to do something where I just wiggle my shoulders, grip is tight. Okay, do it again. Curl up, comb my hair, let it drop on the right side, okay? So generally what I have everyone do, or beginners do, is maybe a set of 10. After that, they should get the general gist that there should be a low point or a drop, descend in the hammer. Second step would just have this is the part 2 of this drill. So part 2 is you curl the hammer the same way. You allow the hammer to come back into the descend phase, drop on the right side, drag it more towards your 0 or your center, and then you think about curling up the hammer again, okay? So again, the hammer starts on the right side, curl up the hammer, let it drop, drag to the center, curl up again, drop on the right, drag to the center, curl up again, drop on the right, okay? So you want to think about that walking the dog motion after you drop. So this is where the push happens in the hammer. At the push phase, so when the right hand drops and it starts to descend and it's coming down, and I know it's a little bit hard to get back to center. That's when you want to think about contracting they like to call them the pooping muscles. So everything on the inside of your abdominal area, your obliques, to start thinking about pushing with the center, pushing with your core, back to center, back to your 0, and ultimately just having an understanding of you don't just push with your hands, because your hands in this motion are really weak. You can't do anything like this, okay? Think about how much weight you could push literally just slapping something versus, right, using your core to brace everything to help accelerate the ball. The third and final phase of this wind, or I should say with a single-handed wind, would be doing the same exact thing, dropping, picking it up slowly, walk it, drop, okay? As you do this motion, every single wind will slowly start to pick up, okay? So for beginners, I know it's hard to get that nice flat orbit or relaxed orbit. That's why I have the first maybe 2 or 3 reps still going back into what the previous motion was, which was let the ball drop on the right side, let it, or push the ball back to center. After the second one, try and barely tap it, push it. It should start coming up off the ground. on the second one. Third one, it would be the last one you'd want it to tap, or better just not at all. Just remember, at the right side, the hammer does descend. Okay, so I'll do it again. Curl, drop, drag, curl, drop, drag, curl, drop, drag. By this point, the ball should have enough momentum where you don't have to let the hammer drop on the right side anymore, and it could just be in a natural motion. Now, how do you put this together? Okay, simple. If you're a right-handed thrower, left hand goes under, right over to help push. Opposite if you're a lefty, so right first and left on top. And just literally just do the same exact progression. The single arm, the reason why I like to do single arm to begin with is that it actually gives the athlete that's learning the hammer an accurate representation of what their active or the strong side should be doing. So the strong side on my end is the right side, so it's allowing me to push the right side, thinking about the core contracting, thinking about the obliques activating, thinking about the upper body, the right hand being active and pushing the hammer over. So same thing progression wise. So it would be the drop. Okay. And then the second one would be drop, drag, right? And then the third one would just be having it drop, drag in the first couple sets, and then slowly progress and come up. Okay. Other key things that I am doing while doing this drill is trying to keep my core, my trunk of my body neutral. So if you start throwing the hammer and you're doing this with the hammer, there's no stability. Okay. You think about if someone's playing basketball and they start going in the direction of the ball, if they're moving it, it's like if their trunk's doing all this, you have less control. So the more stable your core, the more stable they call it your center axis, your axis in the middle, the more stable that is, the better you're going to be able to activate everything else in your body. One of the things that I actually think about while doing that is there used to be back in my day, I would say in first grade kindergarten, there was these globes that had a stick running right down the middle of them, and you were able to spin the ball or the earth as fast as you wanted to. So that's basically the outside is the hammer, the center is your body. Okay, so if you break that stick, the earth would not be able to rotate around that axis correctly. It would be breaking and kind of wobbling and just ultimately break, right? So that's a good way to think about it. More advanced, I should say not advanced, but I should say more experienced throwers know that if you don't start to have either the arms descend down or think about looking to the right, you'll get back to this problem that I said is a huge problem. The hammer is staying stuck up here, so it'll come down and you'll get stuck up here and you don't know what to do. That's where you want to think about looking to the right and allowing that hammer to descend. So this is also known as a catching the hammer back. So the hammer comes up, you catch the hammer back, and then you're going to be able to push from all the way back here, all the way to your zero or past zero. Okay. Usually you don't want to think about applying much more force than after your zero. This should be more like you're going downhill. Think about a bike going downhill and you're pushing or pedaling faster so that the ball is able to accelerate. Okay. Now, something to think about when it comes to the wind. Your speed does not come from your wind. Your speed in the hammer does not come from the wind. So if you're going a million miles per hour in the wind, you're not going to be able to connect your first turn to your second turn, your third turn, because you're going like a bat of hell and there's no real control. The wind is just something that helps you kind of like break the ice. Okay, it's just kind of like an introduction, a starter, a jogging start into what the actual run is. The sprint or the run is actually your turns. So the better your turns are, the more acceleration of the ball, connection of the ball. So I believe that should be it for the one. So if you guys have any questions, please DM me or comment, and we'll see if I can make another video or a follow-up video on any questions you guys may have. Thanks for watching.